Alright.
Okay, so now this is our next boss fight. Metal Gear X.
Oh, we've been waiting for this.
Yes.
We knew we were going to encounter this thing.
And we were going to fight it. Now, the best person to call to find out more about Metal Gear X when you first play this game is to call Otacon, because he knows more about... Because he's the creator of Metal Gear X.
Well, Joy, he created it, so...
Yeah, so we obviously have to call him.
So basically, he's talking about, you know, how we can hit Rex and damage it.
Pretty much.
Rex's pilot seat operates exactly like a VR system. It's got multiple sensors connected to a high-tech interface used for the controls. It's completely self-enclosed and shut off from the outside environment.
He's not using his naked eyes?
That's right. So if you could somehow destroy the sensors... Do you see that round plate on Rex's left arm?
Yeah, that thing that looks like a shield.
That's a radome. If you can destroy that thing, it won't be able to use electronic equipment. So he'll be blind.
So this is...
shoot the radome.
Yeah. The radome. Is this the, hardest boss fight, do you think?
Actually, when I first played this game for me, it was, but now playing it, not so much. But it can be a pretty difficult boss fight when you first play it because of his weapons. Because he uses his Vulcan cannon, his laser gun, and his missiles. The missiles are probably by far the most annoying weapon out of all of them. Because with the missiles, it's going to always lock onto you unless you run forward. Because if you run forward, you're more likely to avoid the missiles altogether.
Yeah. So...
The laser gun, not so much. The machine guns, those are quite difficult to avoid. But, once you know what to do, it becomes quite easy. But if you don't, when you first play this game, it can be quite difficult.
Okay. So the hardest boss for you is... You said it was Vulcan Raven before.
Yeah.
And you stand by that?
I still stand by that.
Okay.
So equip the body armor.
Look, the health bar looks really big, but, you know, hitting the radome takes off quite a big chunk each time, so it's really not that bad when you take that into consideration. I still can't believe I have never ever played Twin Snakes.
It's a good game, mate.
You think I should play it?
Oh, yeah, you should. If you like the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid... You like Metal Gear Solid 2, don't you?
Yes.
It's like playing Metal Gear Solid 1, but with Metal Gear Solid 2's gameplay.
Okay. Yeah. We're nearly done with the radome already. You're making this look super easy.
I want to jinx it.
The biggest boss in the game, and you're making it look like a complete and utter joke. I'm sorry, but that's true.
Actually, I can do better than that. Come on, will you just fucking die?
Keeps missing.
Malgun. Okay, now I got him. That's just the first round, though.
Yeah, there's 2 rounds, isn't there?
Yes.
That's the first
when the cockpit opens, you got to shoot the stingers inside where Liquid is.
All right, and somehow miraculously, well, Liquid Snake's not going to be able to survive that, surely.
Obviously. Okay, now this is where Grey Fox comes into it and tries to rescue us. He's been gone for quite a while, hasn't he?
Oh, hello. I forgot you were in this story.
Last time we saw you was in Noticon's lab.
Sounds better than deep.
Yeah, it does sound better than Deep Throat.
Obviously.
Trouble Snake, you haven't aged well.
I'll send you back to
Why? What do you want from me? I'm a prisoner of death. Only you can free me.
Fox, stay out of this. What about Naomi? She's hell-bent on taking revenge for you.
Naomi?
You're the only one who can stop her.
No, I can't.
Why?
Because I'm the one who killed her parents. I was young then, and couldn't bring myself to kill her too. I felt so bad that I decided to take her with me. I raised her like she was my own blood to soothe my guilty conscience. Even now she thinks of me as her brother. But from the outside, we might have seemed like a happy brother and sister. Every time I looked at her, I saw her parents' eyes staring back at me. Tell her for me. Tell her that I was the one who did it.
There you are!
We're just about out of time. Here's a final press from Deep Throat. I'll stop it from moving.
In the Middle East, we don't hunt foxes, we hunt jackals. Instead of foxhounds, we use royal harriers.
Fox.
How strong is that exoskeleton of yours? Snake, are you just going to sit by and watch him die?
Cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
Destroy the radome.
Impressive! You are indeed worthy of the codename Fox, but now you're finished!
No! Fire the stinger!
What? Can you really shoot? You'll kill him too!
No!
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is a part where it's optional. Well, this isn't really optional, what am I saying? What you do is that you got to aim the stinger missile at him.
You don't have to aim the stinger missile at him.
Well, no,
Basically,
because Snake will keep on saying he can't do it and he won't shoot and so forth.
that's why I say you don't have to do it, because there's no real point. You
This is
can't shoot
scripted.
anyway.
This is scripted. You can't do anything about
Yeah,
this.
you
This
can't-
always happens.
You can't do it anyway, so why would you bother aiming?
You can also aim at Fox for some reason.
Die, Fox!
Die, asshole.
You're gonna die
Even though you
anyway.
helped us and gave us ammo, but might as well kill you.
Snake, we're not tools of the government or anyone else. Fighting was the only thing I was good at. But at least I always fought for what I believed in. Snake, farewell.
Here we go.
Yep. This is where he's gonna.
It's gonna happen.
He's gonna completely destroy him.
Foolish man! He prayed for death, and it found him. You see, you can't protect anyone, not even yourself. Die!
Okay, so now we're continuing on with the fight.
Yep.
Thanks to Grey Fox, we're now able to
Attack the cockpit,
attack the cockpit and kill Liquid.
Once and for all.
Bastard.
and he shall die for killing him.
How dare he kill him? Oh god, these are the missiles you're talking about.
Yep.
And
And the laser. Yep.
Oh, that laser is annoying.
And I
You
got
don't
attacked.
actually have to you don't actually have to lock on.
Unless you lock on the Stinger missile precisely, then you'll be fine. As long as the Stinger missile is aiming in Liquid's direction, then you'll be fine. Then you'll be able to shoot him with no problems.
Well, general direction. You might miss him, but you know, you might not. Like here. We nearly finished him already. Even though you've had to use quite a lot of your rations to do so.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's the only downside, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, you douche. And all your rations are used.
I can see that.
And that's it.
Yep, that's that. Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, they make this thing out to be such a big threat.
But it's
And
not
you
really.
go and smash it just like that and make it look so simple.
I've got to say though, when I was a kid, I used to find this battle quite difficult.
Yeah. I can kind of get why. I mean, I found it
Actually,
difficult when I
believe it
first
or not, there's a lot of users on YouTube that say this battle was easy for them when they were kids. I thought, ow.
By the way, that's not farting. That's the controller.
Vibrating like mad. And Snake hits his head against the wall.
Okay.
In a second. Okay, there you go. There you go.
So basically...
Now, there's a bit of a plot hole here. How did Liquid get Snake all the way to the top of Metal Gear Rex when they're very at the bottom? Plot hole number 2.
Well, we see
How did
Meryl
get on top of Metal Gear Rex?
Well, here we see Snake walking towards us. He's going to pick us up.
You mean
no
Liquid's
doubt.
walking towards us?
Yeah, Liquid's walking towards us. He's going to pick us up, no doubt. And well, he's injured. How the hell is he going to be able to carry us to the top of the Metal Gear?
Plus, here's another
as well
thing.
as Meryl as well.
Plus, here's another thing.
I'm presuming Meryl's kept nearby.
Also, I've got a question. How did Meryl get up there in the first place?
I'm presuming he was...
Where was she kept?
I'm presuming he was keeping her very, very close to here.
Yeah, but...
It's the only thing I can think of, 'cause why else would she be here? Oh, and you can... Yeah, you can...
You can move around.
Yeah, you can control where Snake's looking here.
A world where warriors like us are honored as we once were, as we should be.
That was Big Boss's.
So this is what Outer Heaven is.
Well, exactly.
When he was young, during the
It doesn't sound so bad when you word it that way, you know, I want soldiers to be honoured. I mean, everyone nowadays wants soldiers to be more valued and more honoured.
Exactly.
now, with all the lies and hypocrites.
So why is it, like, displayed that it's such a bad idea? I don't understand that. I'm presuming you might be able to shed some light on that because you've played the MSX games.
I played through the 2 MSX games, yes.
Yeah, so...
That explains it a bit more detail.
So why is Outer Heaven seen to be a bad thing?
Well, that explains it later on in Metal Gear Solid 4 as well, like, about Out of Heaven in more detail. Number 3 pretty much set the whole storyline in motion, but when you play Portable Ops and Peace Walker, they believe that Out of Heaven because you learn more about how Zero didn't want, you know, Big Boss to, you know, accomplish these World of Honours for some reason. I can't remember exactly why.
Okay.
But I do remember in Metal Gear Solid 4 when Eva talks about it to Snake, they explain it as to why it is.
Okay, so you're saying wait until we cover those games.
Best team.
Okay.
But that was Big Boss's fantasy. He wanted, you know,
Yeah.
soldiers to be honoured.
Well, I don't think that's a bad fantasy, in all honesty. I mean, you go on Facebook nowadays, and there are loads of people, Facebook, Twitter, talking about how soldiers don't get paid enough, they don't get honoured, and yet you've got footballers earning, like, nearly millions of pounds.
Just doing the same thing over
Just
and
kicking
over
a
again.
ball around while there's soldiers fighting for a country.
And sacrificing their lives for
yeah.
their families, their friends, everything.
Politicians get paid too much compared to them, just for being dicks.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And how they were created to be killers, in general.
So this scene here is talking about the Les Enfants Terribles project, which is French for the terrible children.
Exactly.
Their plan was to artificially create the most powerful soldier possible. The person that they chose as the model was the man known then as the greatest living soldier in the world.
Big Boss.
But Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in. So they created us from his cells, with a combination of 20th century analog cloning and the super baby method.
Super baby method.
They fertilized an egg with one of Father's cells, and then let it divide into 8 clone babies. Then they transferred the clones to someone's uterus, and later intentionally aborted 6 of the fetuses to encourage strong fetal growth.
As a kid, when I first played through this game, it felt kind of a bit confusing. It felt kind of a bit confusing, but once you piece it all together, it makes sense.
We were accomplices in murder before the day we were even born.
Technically, they weren't the ones who murdered their 6 brothers. It was the scientists that decided that they were going to do that.
Exactly, and those 2 eggs were Snake and Liquid.
Doy.
And Liquid, and yeah, like Liquid said, they used him as a guinea pig.
The dominant genes were expressed to create you.
But actually, no, Liquid was the superior one, because he thought he was the inferior one, but he wasn't.
You took everything from me before I
Yeah.
was even born.
So it turns out he was the superior one.
But you don't find that out until right after you beat the game, when you hear like his codec
When Ocelot
conversation.
talks to soldiers about it. It was the 3rd one.
Carrying on his genetic legacy, but they're different. they're digital. With the completion of the Human Genome Project, the mysteries of humanity were laid bare. Thanks to Father's DNA, they were able to identify more than 60 soldier genes responsible for everything from...
I love how they interject like these realistic scenes.
In real life.
Yeah.
Soldier genes were transplanted into the
Did they act this, or did they actually shoot this somewhere legitimate?
They must have shooten it.
genome
It has to be acting, surely.
It must have been shooted.
Or doy.
Or maybe they might have actually... Or maybe they might have actually took it from something that we've never seen before.
Oh, I don't know. I don't care.
They are our brothers, created artificially through the alignment of nucleotides to mimic our father's genes. They too are the product of numerous sacrifices.
Sacrifices?
Human experiments! 1991, the Gulf War. The military secretly injected soldiers with the soldier genes. The Gulf War...
So technically the soldier genes, do they just make them, you know, more soldier-like, stronger, physically fitter? I don't get it. Are they just like to make them, you know, more aware of their surroundings and stuff?
Kind of like the SOP system in 4, where soldiers are able to think, react really quickly with no experience.
It affects their reactions.
With no experience, and they can actually do all the stuff with no problem. Only problem is, though, with the SOP, Liquid can control you and make you have headaches and make you, be sick and everything.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. So you may have super soldier abilities, but Liquid has control of the system where he's able to control you.
So the genome soldiers mean that the...
Because you remember in Act 1 when all those soldiers went completely crazy because of when Liquid activated the system?
Vaguely.
And they have to use that syringe stuff to get rid of it.
Have you ever heard of the asymmetry theory? Nature tends to favor asymmetry. Those species which have gone extinct all show signs of symmetry. The genome soldiers suffer from the
So this is just like a massive conversation about the genome soldiers and where these two originally came from. And their connection to Big Boss.
Exactly.
all on the verge of death.
It explains it in more detail.
We don't know when or what type of disease will occur. That's why
I think
we
the
need
whole,
old
you know,
man's genetic information.
like liquid and solids look a bit distorted, and I think that's like a lot to do with like their injuries and their environment and stuff. I think it was typical.
Yep.
Deliberate.
I
think. Don't quote me on that.
I will.
How dare you?
It's what I'm here for.
Selfish gene theory. Every fucker on this earth is selfish to some degree.
Everyone can be selfish.
Exactly. And now it's talking about passing on DNA.
To family members and so forth.
And then I'm going to go beyond. In order to break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you.
Oh, charming.
Very charming.
So now we're done with this babble.
Pretty much.
Behind you.
Oh, there she is!
All nicely laid up.
She was alive.
Been looking for her for quite a while. Now,
Girl kept calling your
yeah.
name. Meryl, stupid woman. Falling in love with a man who doesn't even have a name.
I have a name.
No, we have no past, no future, and even if we did, it wouldn't be truly ours. You and I are just copies of our father, Big Boss.
Let Meryl go.
As soon as we've finished our business, we're almost out of time.
You're talking about Fox Die.
No. It seems now that the Pentagon knows that Metal Gear is destroyed. They've arrived at a decision. They won't even need a BDA. If you want the details, why don't you ask your...
So before we're going into battle, we need to find Campbell, because Campbell's got some information for us.
And he knows more about the Pentagon and everything. And how he's not allowed to tell us anything about any of it.
What is the Pentagon trying to do?
So obviously there was a lot more going on behind the scenes on Colonel's side.
Yep, because he knew a lot.
Than what we actually knew on our side, because obviously the Colonel's been forced to cover up quite a lot of information.
Exactly.
They're carrying B-6113 surface-piercing tactical nuclear bombs.
What? Metal Gear is destroyed. Tell the Secretary of Defense.
The Secretary of Defense heard that Naomi double-crossed us, and he's worried about Fox Die. Now that there's no more danger of a nuclear strike from Metal Gear, he's going to do whatever's necessary to cover up the truth of what really happened here.
He's going to drop a nuclear bomb to vaporize all the evidence along with anyone who knows anything.
Don't worry, Snake. I'll stop the nuclear strike.
How?
I may only be a figurehead here, but I'm still officially in command of this mission. If I issue an order to delay the strike, it'll confuse the chain of command and at least buy you some time. It'll give you a chance to escape.
But, Colonel, if you do that...
It's okay, Snake. The truth is, Foxhound was already the subject of an undercover investigation. Merrill was transferred to this base just before the terrorist attack as a way of manipulating me.
Those bastards.
I'm sorry. They forced me to cooperate in exchange for her life. You better get out of there, Snake.
Are you sure? It'll be bad for you.
Don't worry. It's the least I can do for you, after all the lies.
Colonel.
I'm ordering them to cancel the bombing run. After that, there's no turning back. What? What are you doing? What?
Snake!
Mei Ling, what happened to the Colonel?
I don't believe it.
What happened?
Snake, the Colonel!
Roy Campbell has been relieved of duty. This is the Secretary of Defense, Jim Houseman.
Put the Colonel back on.
He's been placed under arrest for leaking top-secret information and for the crime of high treason.
Ridiculous.
Yes, he's a ridiculous man. He truly believed that he was in command of this operation.
You bastard.
There won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
The President ordered this?
The President is a busy...
See, they didn't even tell the President that they were doing this.
Exactly, so they were just getting away with it.
A nuclear attack on Alaska to the media.
Don't worry. We've prepared a convincing cover story. We'll simply say that the terrorists exploded a nuclear device.
Smart. You'll be murdering everyone here. The scientists, the Genome Army, everyone.
Donald, the DARPA chief, is already dead.
So, you didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief after all.
He was my friend.
And you could care less about what happens to everybody else, huh?
Well, if you give me the optic disc, I might consider saving them.
What are you talking about?
Metal Gear's test data. Donald was supposed to bring it back.
I don't have it.
I see. Oh, well, that's okay. You two are an embarrassment from the 1970s. Our country's dirty little secret. You can't be allowed to live. Well, the bombs will be dropping soon, and you two have a lot of catching up to do. Farewell.
Okay, so now we've got the extra pressure on us of, ruddy... whatchamacall? Bombs.
Bombs, yes. Because the Pentagon is trying to bomb the place.
So...
And we have to defeat Liquid and save Meryl, pretty much.
So yeah, we have to kill Liquid, save Meryl,
and try and get the fuck out of there.
Obviously, Meryl here. This scene is always the same, regardless of the ending.
There'll be a difference after you beat Liquid, though.
Yeah, depending on whether you survived the torture sequence or surrendered. If you survived, like we did, well, you did.
Well, I did, yes.
Yeah.
I went through all the torture.
Then Meryl will survive. If you did not, if you surrendered, Meryl will die.
And you'll have to live with it.
You have to live with the fact that you murdered her.
And then Otacon will be
you'll escape with Otacon instead.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you resist the torture, you'll escape with Meryl.
Meryl will survive and you'll escape with her.
Yeah, like I said, this is the only game in the series that has 2 endings. All the other games have 1 ending.
It's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got to engage in fisticuffs with Liquid. The
Yep.
final battle.
Yes, and probably one of the most annoying ones.
So basically, we just got to kick the shit out of... Ah!
Yeah, pretty much. You got to kick the crap out of it. Now, the thing about Metal Gear Solid 1, you got to be really precise with your punches and kicks, otherwise you're not going to hit him.
Can you actually fall off Metal Gear?
Well, you can, if he steps on you. If he steps on you, that is. Right.
But he doesn't do that often.
Well, not really now. Now, doing this on extreme mode was a nightmare, seriously. He moves a lot quicker, and he does, like, so many moves. It's ridiculous. He doesn't even give you a second to react. Now, the one thing that really ticks me off about that bit is if you only punch him once, he'll actually do, like, multiple punches and kicks on you as a counter-attack.
Yeah.
And that really gets to me.
Oh,
Get up, Snake!
So if you die here, you do start it again, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's alright, because, you know, it's been a while since we've saved. So this isn't the hardest boss, but it's certainly the most annoying. Is that how you feel about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always disliked this battle. And I'm dead. I was close.
You have no rations either, so that's going to
Yes.
make it tricky. So let's do this again, and hopefully we'll get it right this time.
Hopefully.
We have the same amount of health, so it's just a case of whittling him down before he whittles us down.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, one thing I find kind of annoying. One thing that I do find kind of annoying is that you got to be precise. I'm trying to. You got to be very precise with your punches and kicks every time. Right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
That kind of gets me aggravated every time.
So you're definitely not a fan of this battle.
Nah, not really.
One of the worst ones in the Metal Gear series, or do you think there's like another contender?
Well, it's not the worst boss, but I don't know really. The worst boss that I've ever fought
In the Metal Gear series?
it's quite a difficult one to say. Probably going to have to go with, yeah, I'll probably go with this one. Actually, some boss battles in Metal Gear Solid 4 were kind of tedious, I thought. Like, most of them were pretty much the same, and every single time you defeated one, you just have to, like, you know... shoot.
Hey, he's falling.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I haven't taken any hits. No hits!
That's funny, because you died last time, and this time, no.
I died the second time, though. No hits, which was quite surprising. Got my ass kicked the first time. And then the second time, I did it perfectly.
Meryl!
No! She's alive.
Relax, don't get your knickers in a twist. Cheryl
okay.
didn't die this time.
Is that you? Snake. Oh, you're alive.
Did they have someone tend to her wounds? Because she got shot.
From the looks of it. So it looks like the terrorist wrapped her up in bandages, which is something quite nice.
It must have been terrible.
That's quite nice of the terrorist, wasn't it?
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. They only tortured me. They only shot me in the arm and the legs.
And they just pinned me against the wall multiple times, and they tried slapping
I was
me.
fighting too.
Yeah.
It was great
Just
fun.
like you.
You're a strong woman.
It makes me wonder what sort of torture she went through this entire time.
You.
Yeah.
I felt like you were there with me. It gave me the strength to go on. But I was scared.
I'm sorry.
Don't say that. But it made me realize something. During all the pain and shame, there was one thing I was sure of. A single hope that I held on to. And that hope kept me alive. Snake, I wanted to see you again.
Meryl. That's my Kodak.